जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम 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 जय जय राम ओम श्री राम
जय राम जय जय राम ओम हे राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय 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 राम ओम श्री जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम जय ओम श्री राम जय जय राम 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 श्री राम जय जय राम ओम 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 श्री ओम श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Yes. Hari Om. The next chapter is Kashi. When we take up the reading of Kashi, is there anything particular that wells up in our heart?
If we go to Kashi, we have to feel something there.
Hari Om, little louder, please.
If we
It is full 100.
go to Kashi,
100 is
we have to leave something and come.
No.
We have to leave something and come when we go to Kashi. There is
We have to
Ashram.
leave some. Correct. Good old days. Nobody bothers about that. Now it has become a place of visit. Now when we read this, anything comes to us. Actually, Kashi, he just makes a mention only in the first para. So the message he gives, what is the message he gives? Probably it can be like this. We have seen in the ashram, many visitors used to come. They may not take the initiative of knowing anything. They are just happy when they come to Panchavati, sit there for some time and then go away. Later on, by any chance, if we happen to meet or they come to our room, We said, are you coming for the first time? They said, no, we used to regularly come. We spend some time and then we go. So it is not necessary that one will get the benefit through a particular line of approach to an organization or a place. Each one may be deriving the joy in their own way. For example, the moment we think about Kashi, what comes to our mind is the temple of Lord Vishwanatha. No? When we go to Kashi, that is our main. We go have a bath in the Ganges, take, nowadays we don't know, water in the Madka will be given to us, and then we go to the temple, we can perform Abhishekam to the Lingam there, and you offer your whatever prayer you have, and then prasad is given, and then we come out. Then our Kashi visit is over. But when we read this, we find we were not, then later on, of course, we went to Banaras University, so many other things, Saranath and all those things, but never on anything else. One temple, what is it called? Sankatamojana temple. Tambi? Sankatamojana temple. Like that, one or two we have gone. But here he says, the city of Kashi is a city of magnificent temples, domes, turrets, of which when viewed from a height, lend a charm to the scene on the banks of the holy river Ganges. The whole of India rightly recognizes that Kashi is one of the most important shrines of Hindustan. Every day, pilgrims by thousands are pouring into the place from all parts of India. As Ram took Ramdas on this pilgrimage in winter, the cold was very, then keeps on, only these words. And the Sadhuram who took him to Kashi, he felt everything is over, and he was trying to get back to South India. Only this mention. So that means any places, any holy places, any places of worship, when we go there, it need not necessarily be in the traditional way, Each one may be deriving. We don't have to belittle anybody. We don't have to think that they have not done this or that. Each one may be deriving the joy in their own way. Simply sitting. We used to see in Rishikesh, many people, even who are advanced in the spiritual line, they come and sit on the banks of Ganges, Bas. And they will be reveling on so many thoughts. They may not be discussing, they may not be taking part in any other one, but they are deriving the joy. Even in Uttarkashi, we have seen this. Many people will go and sit on the banks of the Ganges for hours together. So when the place becomes holy, the joy or the benefit drawn by each and every visitor need not necessarily be in the same way. That is the message, first way. When you go through the text, first message is like that. Because not a word, Kashi is famous for this Kashi Vishwanatha temple. That was the place where even Lord Adi Shankara came out of many of his illusions. Still the Brahmin, the upper caste mentality was in a subtle way dominating him. So the Lord chose his visit to Kashi, an opportunity to release him even from that conceptual prison. He came in the form of a Chandala, and then Adi Shankara asked him to move out because he has come from the Ganges after the bath. Then he said, whom you are asking to move out? Then the talks began, dialogue began, and finally he revealed. Then Adi Shankara got thoroughly disillusioned with what he had previously, and then he became full and complete. This is how the history teaches us. So we all when we go to Kashi, we have that background in our mind. So with all that thoughts dwelling in, we go and do that what is to be done. And the advantage was, unlike in South India, we can straight away go to the sanctum sanctorum and offer the prayers directly. Need not necessarily be through the priest. In South India, the tradition is different. There, anybody, even in Jammu, we have done that. Even in Jammu, there is a famous temple where on the lawns of which Papa was sitting and the Bakshi located him there. No? So when we were taken to the temple, we can draw the water and pour on the lingam. So there the advantage is there, every one of us can go near the Murti and we can offer in our own way whatever worship we would like to. But no such mention has been made here because that we thought, no, that is the way. That is not the way. Papa said it can be in any way. That is also okay. This is also okay. Now we understand the Tirupati. Tirupati also he did not go inside. But he made a mention about Tirupati. Even the chapter was named as Tirupati. Is it not? Yes, Tirupati, in the cave, Tirupati. Normally when we say Tirupati, it's a darshan of Balaji. But he derived the fullest happiness through that night, he was chanting Ram Bhajan in spite of the biting cold. Early morning they left to the Pavanasini and then he came back, that's all. So at that time it did not strike to us. But now when we come to Kashi, and when he has not made a mention about anything about Vishwanatha temple, then we try to put two into two together. He also mentioned this Kashi for the chapter. But Kashi dealt with only a few lines in the first paragraph. Then he went to Ayodhya. There are also no other. He had a wash in Sarayu river. So returning from the holy river, they visited various mandirs of Ramachandra and Hanumanji, secured food at the kshetra, and they caught train towards Bombay. So both Kashi and Ayodhya, at least in here he was only telling that the most important shrines of Hindustan, lend a charm to the scene on the banks of the holy river Ganges. And Ayodhya, the train carried Sadhuram to Ayodhya, the place where Sri Ramchandra lived and reigned. That's all. It was night when the pilgrims reached the place. They rested for the night in the open passenger shed outside the station. Cold was intense. Sadhuram suggested that both should lie back to back. Really an original idea. Early next day, both proceeded to the city, then to the Sarayu river. Washing the feet, Sadhuram suggested that no bath need be taken. So returning from the holy river, they visited various mandirs and secured food, and now they left for Bombay. So here also the same theory, So this message is very important. The holy place means something connected with all these things, no doubt. But each may be deriving, especially those who have been blessed with an aptitude toward the impersonal aspect of the reality, God, they will not feel that they have lost any chance or they have not fulfilled the mission. We can take it like that. We don't know how far it is right. Because Papa was totally, Papa's life, Papa's sadhana totally stood for the impersonal aspect, never to the personal aspect of the God. So he did not disturb him at all, whether it was in Tirupati, whether it was in Kashi, whether it was in Ayodhya. Though, in order that readers should not get the idea that the Saguna aspect of Saguna worship aspect is also not to be belittled, he brought in the Chidambaram, Rameshwaram, Puri, no?
Also Vrindavan, Swami.
Later on in Vrindavan when he comes. So the message is each one may derive the spiritual benefit from their own standpoint. God will make them to feel comfortable in any circumstances, in any such place. We people, suppose we go, we may feel regret if it is denied to us. To us, it's okay. To us, it is not okay. To him, it was okay. Please think about it. The first and second chapter. Yes, it gives us this. This is how we felt just now. Then, in the third chapter, he gives, many a times this has been mentioned, that the Sadhuram was having that brass pot. Sadhuram was dozing. Some passenger who had not perhaps any pot with him took away while alighting the brass pot of the Sadhuram, who woke up and discovered his loss. He began to fret over the loss a great deal. In fact, he wept bitterly over it like a child. Not condemning, When we have only one possession or two possessions, naturally our attachment will be towards that totally, It is natural. And it is a brass pot, which is the basic requirement of any pilgrim. So he is justified, and then at the same time, Papa was without that, so he did not feel it. Papa just mentions that's all. And then comes the episode of the deity, trying to tease the pilgrims, manhandling the pilgrims. So what does that incident touch and kindle in us? We place ourselves in Papa's position. We will immediately report to the police, or we may just run away. But a very great lesson he wants to teach from the next chapter. Love conquers hate. Though it may not be possible for any of us to follow what Papa did, still something of it can be tried in our own way. Our body language can also convey love. That is what happened here. When in the line, next to the Jatadhari was Papa, and Papa was asking him to give way, but he did not, because Jatadhari was also enjoying it. He had also raised himself to a little more higher level than the body level. But when Papa's turn came, when he offered, suddenly, the next chapter you will find The clerk, coming up, caught his hand in a firm grasp, looked on his face, in which he discovered a most welcome smile, bright, beaming. At once he let go his hand, and drawing himself back a few steps, seemed to have given himself to some thinking. It was Ram who was at work, for next instant he asked all the sadhus to go out the station. Accordingly, all left one by one. O Ram, when the invincible arm protects thy say, where was the fear for him? One thing was proved incontestably and beyond any doubt, and that was, thy disarmest the evil intentions of an adversary when he approaches you in a violent mood by meeting him with a smile instead of with fear or hatred. Very difficult for all of us. So we read, reread, and then finally we try in our own way, There have been many instances in the life of Gandhiji where this had become his practice. So the Kashi and this, but next, the last portion of the Kashi chapter and the first portion of the next one, Love Conquers Hate, gives us this message. You read out that particular message. Thou disarmest the evil intentions of the adversary when he approaches you in a violent mood by meeting him with a smile instead of with fear or hatred. It may be very difficult, but at the same time, something of it can be tried in our own way, Beyond which we cannot make any comments, because it is the tallest order, I should say, not even taller. Because in us, the me and mine is very strong. So our rights and wrongs are, our likes and dislikes and rights and wrongs are so clear to us. And naturally the tendency will be there to hold on to our rights and see the wrong in others. So these 18 chapters should give us some ABC ideas about this. If we go through the previous chapters, in finding out an answer for this, probably we might be able to get some idea as to how this love conquers hate can be tried, not practiced, can be tried. Anything else in that chapter?
The most crucial chapter, Swamiji, for me.
Huh?
The most crucial chapter for me.
The most crucial
chapter for me.
Why so?
Because in the past, not now, but in the past when I was working, I did face many such difficult situations when I did not have the armor of interest of God.
Earlier, before reading the Impersonal.
Yeah. Now,
Not only to you. Even after going through all these, even after doing so much of Ram Nam, even after visiting Ashram for so much of number of times, probably even after having the darshan of Papa or Mataji or Swamiji or anybody, do you think people who are hearing and sitting here are in a position to actualize these in their lives? Very difficult. Very difficult. So not only to you, to everybody. And then we find that nothing is sweet. Yeah, in these 18, 19 chapters, nothing is easy. Unless it is backed up with so many things by which the dominance of me and mine is reduced, All this because, we are viewing it from our body, mind, intellect level, sense of individuality level. If we go through it again and again and again, we find whatever Papa did, it was because he was able to raise himself from the individual level to a higher level, which means God dimension. We are trying to understand it from our individual level.
But Swamiji, one thing is certain. Nowadays, the incidences and the titles of the chapters, everything immediately comes to the mind when a situation occurs, like an antenna getting alerted.
Alerted, yes. Quite right. But the equipment will not cooperate with us, Straight away it will not cooperate. Yeah?
Mission breakdown.
Because immediately the me and mine will come. We have trained ourselves only to view it from our sense of individuality level. We may be doing all these things, but when it comes to the me and mine question, it will be uncompromising. If we watch closely ourselves, it will become very clear. Probably Papa wants us to touch and kindle this aspect. That is why he raises this. Why is it that the love cannot be, in our case, love conquers hate is a tall order? Because many of us would have been given opportunities where we would have tried in a different way, and the result would have been opposite also. Because that we are viewing it from the individual level. That means when you shout at me and when I calmly and I don't react, even then, apparently I am calm, cool. But from which level I am dealing with? Am I seeing it as a test of God? Or I have been able to control my senses to some extent and it is subdued and it is not reacting. But at the same time in my mind, I thought, why is he shouting now? For no fault of mine. Though there is no use of telling him anything, still, we are not seeing anything else other than that. We are still viewing from the individual level. So this chapter makes us to remember that in quest of God stands for, or it directly and indirectly encourages to raise ourselves from our present level of thinking, present level of judgment, present level of observation, to a little more higher level. Then only all these chapters we will be able to understand it to some extent. This is also the in-depth study reveals to us that if we are to answer in one word, what is the message of in quest of God? It can be this. It can be so many, but to us at the moment, it can be like this, that unless and until you raise yourself to a higher level, you will not be able to harmonize yourself with the various creations and situations. Everywhere. A very powerful message.
Just like a morsel of food in the child's mouth.
Morsel of food in a child's mouth.
In a
Child mouth. Morsel of food in a child's mouth.
அப்படின்னா உள்ள போயிடும், இல்லைன்னா போகாது. அந்த லெவலில் தான் இருக்கும் நம்ம. Very difficult.
This is in spite of the fact that the mind keeps on telling that we are devotees, we are spiritual aspirants, we do this, we do that, the mind keeps on telling us and consoles us. Mind, intellect, both of them will tell us. But the net, if you, the net result of our life lived so far will confirm to us that we have not been able to eke out the fullest benefit from any of the things provided to us by God in the form of a holy association with Mahatmas, chanting of the holy and all-powerful Ram Nam, attending or singing bhajans or taking part in bhajans. The seva aspect is brought as much as possible in all that we do. Everything, all these things, it makes us to feel we are devoted. But the most salient and vital aspect is our periodical evaluation, where have we been able to raise ourselves from our level, individual level, to a higher level. Then only we will be able to accept all situations as ordained by Him. Love conquers hate. Whether it was the ticket inspector or whether it was the boys who were mocking, any incident, whether it was in Chidambaram, the way in which he was denied the entry, and then how everywhere we can find that. If he was dealing from the individual level, so many justification, pleadings, grumblings, complaints, so many things will come. But because he was able to raise himself to a higher dimension, all these things did not matter at all to him. So this is another powerful message of the in-depth study of In Quest of God. Before we take up to the next one, 20th, Jhansi, just now before we came to the Satsang hall, one more thought came. When we say unknowingly, we have named it as in-depth study of In Quest of God. Papa did not remind us about it. We limited ourselves to the study of 37 chapters. In Quest of God text includes so many other things other than these 37 chapters. One of the important is outpourings. Then there are a few poems. Then there are a few letters written by him. We will not be able to cover. And why he did not, all these 9 months, he did not remind us about it. He said the in-depth study undertaken on these 37 chapters will enable you to proceed further in your own way. Because the outpourings of the cave cannot be understood at all. We may be reading it, that's all. If we view it purely from the individual level. Because it is a clear-cut dialogue between him and Ram, And at times he keeps himself away from these watches, There is one more dimension there. O Ramdas, O Ram, It is difficult to understand unless we Ponder deeply. In one para, he may say, O Ram. O Ram. First we'll start O Ram. Second O Ram. Third O Ram. Fourth O Ram. Like that, no. Then suddenly he will say, O Ramdas.
You are nothing.
Then he will say, Ramdas cares not. O Ramdas. O Ram, O Ramdas. Then he says, O mind, Ramdas, you are now mad. Who is telling? No, we cannot answer it straight away. Ramdas, you are free, nothing binds you. Who says? O Ram, O Ram. Start Ramdas on his mission, O Ram. Okay. The lull has passed. You are not weak, Ramdas. Ramdas, rise to the very height of renunciation. O Ram. Then again, O Ram. O love. O Ram. O Ramdas. See? So we cannot cover as we have covered these 37 chapters. Because 37 chapters are in the usual, at least in appearance, there is a traditional way of expression. Here it is totally untraditional. No? And it is purely a dialogue between the devotee, the Bhakta and the Bhagavan. And the Bhakta, and at times, the Bhakta is separated. At times, the Bhagavan is separated. It is a soliloquy, it is an inward dialogue. No other person comes in here. No other situation comes in here. No other object comes in here. Think. So it cannot be done in a collective way. It is purely allotted to an individual, to go deeper and deeper and deeper into this. You will find in many of his books, though many a times he makes a mention about in quest of God, he will hardly, excepting one or two, hardly touch about these outpourings. Because outpourings are the outcome of a sadhaka. Of a sadhaka of a higher type, not the ordinary sadhaka. Papa has written this after coming back. 1920 to 22, intense sadhana, he was able to scale himself to a higher level, and then he was made to go through all these things, he was exposed, and then also the learning was going on, and then finally he came back to the cave where he was leading a serene life, meditating on, talking of, what is that? 3 times, writing, writing, yeah? A serene life, devoting his whole time in talking about, writing of, and meditating on that all-loving, glorious love. And then he adds this, outpourings. Outpourings when Ramdas resided in the cave. So why did he mention this? He has not explicitly stated why he has mentioned. It is for us to infer. Whether the inference is right or wrong, we don't know. Because he has not given us any clue, we take it that because this happens to be purely between the Bhakta and Bhagavan, Bhagavan inside, no further explanation can be given. That stage will come only when I have started feeling the presence of God in me, placing ourselves everything at His holy feet, seeking guidance from Him. And whenever, even if there is a subtle lapse on my part, because of the purity, I place it before Him. So this is purely, how can we name it? It can be named as purely an internal affair, absolutely internal affair. 100%.
Self unto thyself.
Eh?
Self unto thyself. Self.
Self to self. Not self to self, higher self to the lower self.
Sure.
In Vivek Chudamani, he says, Adi Shankara says, there are two eyes. One is the present level eye, and the other eye witnessing the eye. One eye, the present one, encased in this body, mind, intellect, equipment. The other eye is the witness of the eye. So like that, it is between that eye and this eye. The sense of individuality is portrayed as I, or we introduce ourselves to the rest of the world as I. We also feel that I am this, but due to our spiritual preceptors' grace, we have been touched and kindled and made known that the real I is within. And then I start moving towards Him, which is called sadhana. And the outpourings, when we reach that stage, then only we can understand really the contents of the outpourings.
Sure.
So that is why probably He did not want us to touch it, because even if you touch it, it will become purely an academic exercise. It should be an experiential exercise. That's what we infer. He has not put it in so many words. But in no other way we can answer this. So we are trying to get an answer with our own limited intellect. Why did He not touch upon this? He simply said, appendix number 1, in the cave. Heart pourings when Ramdas resided in the cave. And then there are a few letters written by him. One to his previous wife, and then to his father. Both are thought-provoking. Because in the letter addressed to his father from, what is that place? In Gujarat, Katosan. That is in Gujarat. Now, he says, my prostrations in the holy feet of my Gurudev, our father who gave me the divine Ram Mantram, I crave for thy blessings. May Sri Ram keep you and blessed with. I may, by Ram's will, remain here for about 10 days before going to Dwarka. Before that, he says, Ram seems to be wishing to close my itinerant life. After Girinar, he says, Ajmer, wherever he went, all places he has touched. Wonderful are thy works, O Ram. Returning from the Himalayas, Ram directed me towards Mathura, the birthplace of that love incarnate Bhagavan Sri Krishna, where from I visited Gokul, Govardhan, Vrindavan. I spent about 10 days on the banks of the holy Jamna in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a delightful place. From Mathura, Sri Ram made me travel down to Rajpur, Raipur, Ajmer, where I visited Kajapir, a famous shrine of Muslims, and then ascended the hill of Pushkar Raj, remained there for 5 days, then came down further this side. Ram wants me shortly to visit Dwarka and Girinar. Girinar is the stand or seat of Dattatreya. After visiting these places in Pandharpur, Ram seems to be wishing to close my itinerant life. At present, I am staying in the ashram of a Mahatma of Gujarat. This ashram is situated in a jungle, quite solitary, where I can perform Ram Bhajan with great pleasure. I am praying Ram to point out and lead me to a place where, now see, where I can spend the remainder of my life in meditation of him, in uttering his sweet name. No mention about the mission. Huh? This ashram is situated in a jungle. I am praying to Ram to point out and lead me to a place where I can spend the remainder of my life in meditation of him, in uttering his sweet name. The charming music of the sound Ram has sustained me all along and will certainly fill me with his grace till the end. But what he intends to make of me is not known to me yet. So he has placed this letter also. And then the letter to Rukmabai, and in between some poems, very thought-provoking poems. Om Shri Ram's Soul Refuge, Ram. 3 poems. So we are not touching any of these in our in-depth study. Probably we need to do intense sadhana further. Then only we will be able to know the real messages contained in 37 chapters, and also then only we will be able to move to a little more subtler one. No, the in the cave is the subtlest, I should say. Nothing from the gross level. And so also the letter. Apparently, it's a letter written to his Purvashram wife. But if we go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, he may reveal so many things to us. So we need a perfected mind to understand between the lines of all these. So we pray to him, when you make us to complete this labeled in-depth study of 37 chapters. From here onwards, we are unable to say IQG, because IQG contains also this portion.
Swamiji, there are 4 stages of approaching God you mentioned. One is
There are 4 stages of approaching God you mentioned.
Yeah.
Nearness, presence, see him everywhere, he and I are one and the same. So I feel that when we reach the outpouring from the cave, Papa is shifting between third stage and 4th stage quickly. Very quickly he switches from the 3rd stage to 4th stage. There is O Ramdas and then O Ram. It is my feeling, Swamiji. I am just submitting to you.
No, you are right. It can be like that. Because the nearness he has attained, presence he has had, and then he is seeing in everybody, and he is to become one with everybody. Probably there may be some little gaps in between that. Small gaps will be there. Otherwise, straight away when I see him in me, I should be able to see him everywhere. So there are still some more to be gone through. Yes, your interpretation also is thought-provoking. Let us watch how it works. It could be. Before the last sleep, no? Up to 3rd stage, okay. From there to go. But to us at the moment, it is all academic,
So, Swamiji, so this in the cave is postdoctoral for us.
Postdoctoral.
Post?
Doctorate like
Not PhD.
More than beyond that, postdoctoral.
beyond.
Beyond PhD. Anyway, each one can derive something from it, whatever way it is. Papa had not uttered a word about this. He gave the freedom to all of us to interpret it in the way, depending upon our spiritual progress, we may be able to interpret it. And draw the necessary inspiration from those portions also. So it is not unimportant. Though he mentions this as appendix, addenda, what they call, but still it is absolutely relevant for all of us. But it cannot be just read like or gone through like the 37 chapters. The methodology he prompted us to go deep into it and tally with our own life, that is not enough. A somewhat different methodology is to be evolved to understand the real import of the outpourings. So we will keep it in our mind, and then try, because it needs a little more evolved state. To be blunt, it should be from the higher level of our individuality. He says, O Ram, raise a great conflagration, a mighty deluge of fire, and burn up in its devouring flames all the evils that are in Ramdas. The fire is lit, the flames are rising, red tongues of flame, waving, hissing, dancing. Throw in now, by Ram's command, O Ramdas, first Ahankar, then Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, in quick succession. Right, they are now all in. Fan the flames, O Ram. All the evils are burning, burning, burning. Now they fly as smoke, now they fall as ashes. All glory to thee, O Ram. Now the fire ceases, then a calm prevails, stillness and heavenly repose, filled with the enchantment of love and peace, filled with the sweetness of Ram. Freedom, freedom, O freedom, Mukti is thy name, Om Shri Ram. So for a fraction of a second, something downpulling must have come. Immediately, by his grace, he was able to arrest it, sublimate it, go beyond it. Probably in a flowery language he has put it. So like that we have to keep on. So we also come across, Why we always come across? We hear good things are there, but whatever that is not good, that is also there, But in his case, after this travel and pondering deeply, he was able to erase almost everything. But there could be some traces at the subtlest level, which also he felt, it is calm, good. It has been burnt, ashes, so that it will not come back again. So like that, lot of introverted thinking is necessary, and then match our own life pattern. With that, suppose when we go through that, the outpourings will definitely help us to a very great extent. Every time we try to put, that is why, once we made an attempt, many people might know that, we replace the word Ramdas with our name, and then we start reading it. Suddenly we know where we are. And wherever Ram is there, you put your Ishtadevata. If Ram is not clear to us, we can put our Ishtadevata, whom we revere, and read the whole thing. Every now and then we have to read.
Swamiji?
You also got it. You also got it.
And I saw I am nowhere. Nowhere.
Correct. First we should find we are nowhere near it. And slowly we will try to get up and move towards it. No? It could be, there could be, because he has not made any mention about it. He has left it to the devotees or aspirants to form their own approach, to form their own opinion about this. So more about this, we will deal with it later if time permits. At the moment, we cannot say that IQG in-depth study has covered this. This is also a very, very vital, very most important aspect of this text.
Swamiji, நான் தான் நீ, நீ தான் நான் என்று சொல்லலாமா?
என்னது?
நான் தான் நீ, நீ தான் நான்.
சொல்லலாம் பிரதான். Just like we repeat the Mahavakyas, you know. Pratnyanam, Ayam Atma Brahma, Pratnyanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. All these things we can repeat.
அப்ப அந்த அகம்பாவம்ன்றது இல்லாம போயிடுமே.
போயிட்லையே. போயிடுமேன்னு சொல்லண்டா, போயிட்லையே. 50 வருஷமா 60 வருஷமா நம்ம நாம சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கோமே.
அப்போ என்னைக்குதான் நமக்கு
என்னைக்கு தான் நமக்கு போகும்? கேட்கணும் அவர்கிட்ட, கேட்கலையே. கேட்குறோம் அவர்கிட்ட. No, really, what you say is right. என்னைக்கு தான் நீ எடுத்துக்க போறியோ? போருமே போரும்னு நம்ம சொல்லிடலே. இது சொல்லுவோமே தவிர நெக்ஸ்ட் மோமெண்டே நம்ம அந்த ஞானம் என்னோட பிடிச்சுன்னு விடுவோமே. Next moment we try to hug on to this me and mine. For a moment he makes us to think in those terms. I should be relieved. When is the day you are going to relieve me completely from the clutches of me and mine? Second chapter we should read, reread, 1,000 times we should read, I should say. That is the one which says, you know, that what is to be erased is the me and mine. O Ram, when thy slave finds thee at once so powerful, so loving, and then he who trusts thee can be sure of true peace and happiness, why should he not throw himself entirely on thy mercy, which can be possible only by giving up everything he called mine? Thou art all in all to thy slave. Thou art the sole protector in the world. Men are deluded when they declare, I do this, I do that, this is mine, that is mine. All, O Ram, is thine. All things are done by thee alone. Thy slave's one prayer to thee is to take him under thy complete guidance, remove his highness. Actually, we have not moved from second chapter, no? The truth is that retaining him, we are trying to go through the 37 chapters. And every time he brings it out, that you can deal with men and matters only when you raise a little higher than the present level of me and mine. But retaining that me and mine perfectly, we try to absorb. That is the real problem all of us are facing. This has not gone deep into our mind. He prayed from the bottom of the heart. He felt that his prayer was heard. He used his own language. He did not use anybody's prayer, anybody's quotation. Everything was original. So he could immediately feel this prayer has been heard. We are following, you know. Right from morning till evening, we are following others. We are not bringing out our original approach. So we are now prompted to think on those times. When we bring out our original approach, then only the process of diluting or the process of tapering or subduing the hold of me and mine will start. It should become original. We quote Shastras, you know. We quote Bhagavad Gita. We quote so many things. We quote the words of Mahatmas. But we have to every now and then check up. They have given us the clue of the methodology. And they scaled the heights because they brought it in their own original way. They assimilated the theme and their prayer was original. Their approach was original. That is why no saints follow the same truth, Each one is unique, so each one has to bring out in a unique form. This is a subtle message they have given. And in the second chapter, it is beautifully brought out. It's a pure dialogue, nothing from outside. He was well aware of the presence of Ram inside. He was well aware of the roadblock that now and then keeps him away from Ram. So he pleads to Ram in his own language to remove the roadblock. Because he has identified the roadblock, it was easy for him to pray to remove that roadblock. And then he felt, intuitively, the prayer has been heard. That is why rest of the chapters could come. All the episodes, were carrying the stamp of this. Nowhere he asserted. Nowhere he said, this should be like this, it should be like that. If at all he had used that word to one or two, it was only because of the faith in Ram and faith in Ram. Otherwise, to him, whatever he saw was Ram. So whatever instructions came from outside was also Ram's, that's all. That he was able to do that because the prayer was original, and so his experience gave him the needed, know-how, expertise to deal with situations. Well established. Expertise and skill is something different, but we are trying to convey that, that's all. But he was well established, stabilized in it. So today, 2-3 things came. One is about, when he talks about Kashi, no particular mention about a particular temple. So that was another message for all of us. And then the attitude, love conquers hate. Though tallest order, we can still try in our own way, in simple things, when we deal with such testing moments meted out to us by God. Then we moved to the last portion, which has not been touched at all during our last 7-8 months. Though we named it as an in-depth study, some or other Papa did not want us to take it up. And now we slowly realize that it is not something that can be dilated upon. It is an outcome of the process of your sadhana. Then only you will be able to understand. It is purely a dialogue between, not only dialogue, it is purely a process initiated by him between his gift of sense of individuality to him. The sense of individuality, the process of purification, the process of improving it further. According to Papa, it needed some more. And so he used that method when he was back in Kadri cave to have this dialogue, placing everything before him, and then felt that all his so-called disturbances have been completely removed from him. Yes, now we also remember, many of you might know or might not know, you observe. Even in Puja Mataji's case, even after Papa dropping the body, even before he dropped the body also a few times, after dropping the body, she used to write letters which appeared in the vision. It is a dialogue. Papa as a form has already quit. But Papa enshrined in her heart is still there now. Though he knows everything, we have a tendency, though the other party may know so many things, everything, we still report so many things, for our satisfaction. So Mataji used to report. It's also a part of sadhana. It's giving us the message.
This word that you said itself is very, very eye-opener for me. The individuality is a gift of God.
Yeah, it's a gift of God.
Yes, that has to be, I have to think about it again and again.
Yeah. It is his wonderful gift. Otherwise, we cannot know him. To know him, he has given us this gift of sense of individuality. And slowly started facilitating to know about this, including the present session. So we have to keep on. It's a gift of God, not in the flowery language style. It is the very truth. Bijam mam sarvabhudanam. No? I am there in everybody. I am the one who is the Bijapada Prida. That 5 stanzas in the Bhagavad Gita affirms this truth. In every day, I am there, I am there, I am there. But at the same time, he gave us a freedom to feel.
So, shell of the individuality,
shell of the individuality, give up the individuality, they say.
So he says, that is why even after scaling the heights, Mahatmas could retain the sense of individuality and continue to share with others as an individual, apparently, but they are dealing with God only. So it's a gift of his name. It is a gift.
But as an individual, I consider I am proud of myself. Whether one is proud of one's achievement, or is it considered to be egoism?
When we forget about the Vidhata, He Jagadata. He is a Jagadata. He is not that I am separate and Jagadata is Jagadata. I am included in the Jagat. So he gave me a wonderful opportunity to know him, to know his creation, to develop relationship with the creation. Probably in the beginning, not a proper relationship. Later on, he slowly made me to understand how to harmonize our relationship with his creation. Our commitment.
Ultimately, his own
Ultimately, his own.
His own. Finally, he makes us believe that he is there. But let it come by itself. To us, at the moment, it is academic. But this is real. This is very much real. This is not a story. This is not a theory. I am existing because of him. I am a gift. The sense of individuality is a gift given to me by him. To know him, to understand, to enjoy. More about this tomorrow will be. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Namaskaram, Namaskaram.
Pranama Swamiji.
Pranam, Pranam, Pranam.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, plural.